Lamid Gimel, Amid Beis, Tanu Rabbanan, about 14 lines from the Mishnah. The first word of line is Vimire Loi Sivshait. Again, we're Oda Chazara. I apologize, but we are going to get there. For now, we're going to get to the Mishnah, and then we will get to the Chazara afterwards. Zok De'ilki Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan. Ein mimatin biyamtev. We've seen this many times. You cannot pick off the berries on Yontif. Mishum Rav Lezer Rav Shimon Amru mimatin. You could, yes, pick off the berries on Yontif. Asks the Gemara the obvious, not so obvious, kasha. Asks the Gemara, the first word line again is mimatin. Ask the Gemara, knocking off the berries, and I believe when we read the Mishnah, when we spoke about knocking off the berries, we brought up this detail. I don't remember who said it, I apologize. But we brought up what would be the problem. And I think we had two answers at the time. One said it's about, breaking a branch, you're knocking off a berry. Someone else said you're making a kosher hadas. So that is the Gemara's kasha. You're fixing a utensil. You're fixing your hadas. Why are you allowed to knock off the berries? You're making this item kosher b'yomtiv. And of course, you're not allowed to make something, create a utensil in yomtiv. And obviously, we can just for a moment appreciate, this is a chiddush, obviously. Mitakin mana. Mitakin mana is when I fix an item, I fix a table, I fix a chair, I fix a mana is a keli, a mana is a utensil. To take a hadas and make it kosher, good. That is the chiddush of the Gemara. So the reason asks the Gemara, how are you allowed to knock off the berries? You're being metakin mana. Amar Rav Ashi, I'll tell you why. Kegoin, the case is shelokton leachila. You knocked off the berries with intent to eat it. And then, almost parenthetically, hey, look at that. I ate the berries. Hey, my hadas is kosher now. That's the reason why it would be kosher. So now we have to understand. Oh, why would a yes work? Why would it not work? What do you say? Good. So therefore, what are you saying? It should not be a problem. Good. Says the Gemara. Very good.
It's already off the ground.
He's right. You have grapes. You got to take grapes off.
Take grapes off of mine.
So answers the Gemara. The reason it's mutter. You're right. Very good, Iraq. You're mutter because laktan lachila. That's the reason why it's mutter. So why now is it? The Gemara has to explain one more detail. Very good. You're allowed to pick up the berries to eat it. But what are we playing games here? We know it's a hadas. We know that you're making the hadas kosher. So why are you allowed to make the hadas kosher? Very good, you're coming along and you're eating. But if the immediate and automatic result is that you're going to be creating a hadas, why is that allowed? Rav Lezer, Rav Shimon, Savala Kavua, says the Gemara. Rav Lezer, Rav Shimon holds like his father. Tamar, Davar, Shein, Miskavein, Motor. The famous sheet of Rav Lezer, Rav Shimon himself, that Davar, Shein, Miskavein is Motor. What is your intent when you knock off those berries? To eat. You automatically create a hadas. That's not your intent. Dover she'ein miskavin. You're not having intent for that. So it's mutter. What's the obvious kasha? Ask the Gemara. But 1 second. Abaya and Rava both say, Moide Rav Shimon, B'psik Reisha. Rav Shimon is Maideh B'sik Reisha B'layamos. What's B'sik Reisha? Literally, it means when you cut off the head, that you're cutting off a chicken's head, but I'm not intending for the chicken to die. Now, we all know if you cut off a chicken's head, what happens? The chicken's going to die. So whether you intend it or not, if it's automatic if it's immediate, if it for sure is going to happen, the halacha is, says the Gemara, it's usher. The classical example we're going to give is you have your refrigerator. So we all know if the light is on in your fridge, are you allowed to open the door? The answer is no. Why? When I open the fridge, is my kavana? Is my intent to turn on the light? Of course not. So why is it aser? Sikreisha v'loyamas. As soon as it's an automatic, it's immediate. It's a reaction. I open, it opens the light. That is aser.
Case.
Why?
When I pick up the berries, if I'm going to eat them, then it's something.
I open the fridge to get out a bottle of milk.
But the fact that the light went on, that's an isser.
The fact that I created a hadas is an isser.
The fact that I created a hadas
Is an isser. It's an isser. Matakin mana. It's a proper isser. It's not a secondary. I understand what you're trying to. You're trying, which is usually the answer. What you're trying to do is you're trying to split, and you're saying it's not automatic. That's what you're trying to say, which is going to be the Gemara's teretz. You just have to figure out how to do it. You're on the right path. Rabbi Yaakov is trying to suggest. What do you mean? You open the door, it turns on the light. Over here, you eat the berry, and the creation of the hadas is not automatic. Well, why is that automatic? Says the Gemara, look at the teretz. The reason why over here it's not a psik reisha. The reason why over here it's a mutter. You have another hadas, which shows us intrinsically is taking off a berry considered an act of making a hadas? No. That's mamash you were trying to answer. Even when you take all the berries, it's not creating hadas. If you need a hadas, you created a kosher hadas. If I don't need a hadas, then it's completely irrelevant to you. It's correct. You have to eat it. But the Gemara is saying even deeper now. The Gemara is saying if I have something else, so you know what would be a good case? According to what the Gemara just said, I'm not suggesting anyone do this. Let's say we're in the middle of this room here, and it is so light. Now, when I open up my fridge and the light turns on, is there any benefit in the world to me? No. That would be similar to the Islay Ashana Achriti. I don't care. Bechlal. Now, the problem is. Oh, why is there an extra step?
Because you're taking it off and then you're eating it. When you turn on the fridge, open up the fridge.
You're eating it, but there's an automatic creation of the hadas.
The creation of the hadas only comes after you eat it.
No. As soon as you pick it off. As soon as you pick it off. The mindset is to eat it. As soon as you pick it off, you create a hadas. What? That's fine also. It's fine also. No, because if you pick it off to create a hadas, then it's also because your intent is to create the hadas. Trying to create a situation that you're picking it off for kavana A, which is mutter, and it's happening action B, which is not mutter. But the Gemara is answering, you have another Ashana. Now, I'm just going to point out, it's not a simple answer, because who cares if you personally have another Ashana, which I know is what's bothering you. Lamaisa, did you create a hadas, yes or no? The answer is yes. So once you create a hadas, kol tov, go jump in a lake. It's a very good kasha, and I'm not suggesting a good answer, but that is what the Gemara says. Now, if we think about it deeply, we could start conjuring up that one is intrinsic, and I know that's where you're trying to go down. One is intrinsic, and one is, I believe the word is extrinsic. I don't know if that is a word. I just made it up, but I think it is a word. One is intrinsic to the action. I open the fridge, intrinsically the light turns on. When I take off the berries and it creates a hadas, it doesn't create a hadas. It creates an item, which if now it is sukkis, I could use it as hadas. Now let's say now it's not sukkis, then who that cares what you're doing? Right? So that's the nikuda of the Gemara. That's the chiddush. So now if I go and I have another Ashana, now it's like sitting today. If this Shabbos you go and you have your beautiful hadas with berries, and you go and you eat all the hadasim, is anyone going to say you created hadas? Tippish, created hadas. Sitting Chanukah time. So that's the reason why the Gemara is allowed to make this split. It's the Ashana Achrita because it's not intrinsic. That was very hard. It's very hard. Yeah.
and the thing after
The salmon. Vada, the silver, the salmon, Vada, Pashit. Vadit. Taner Rabbanon. Let's go. One last Gemara. Hutar ugdoi biyantif. If you're lulav, untied on yantif, ayvei, what do? We know you got to tie up the lulav. Says the Gemara, oigdoi, you tie it up, ki aguda shel yerek, with a binding of a yerek, like a vegetable. You take some thin nothing and you just tie it together. Ask the Gemara, 1 second. Vamai, why are you taking your celery and tying it? Not celery, it's wrong item. Your give me a vegetable. That's parsley. Parsley, that'd be better. Why are you taking your parsley and tying it up? Why are you taking a vegetable? Tie it with a bow. What's the problem of tying up your lulav and yantif? Making a knot. Now let's make a knot. Oh, says the Gemara. Huh. So make a bow. I think we all tie our shoes in Yantiv and Shabbos. So take the piece of lulav and make a bow with it. Answers the Gemara, Gishmak. Hamani Rabbi Yehuda. This is Shitas Rabbi Yehuda. The Amar. Big Chiddush. Baruch Hashem, we don't pass in this way. Aniva, a bow. Kshiram al Yusahi. Mama Chappelle, can you imagine how the world would change? According to Rabbi Yehuda, if you tie a simple bow, it's called a knot. And that's why you can't tie a bow in your lulav. So tight and not tight is not necessarily, it's long lasting. Fra asked the Gemara, 1 second. Rabbi Yehuda, what did Rabbi Yehuda hold about whether lulav sarich eged or not? This is why we have to chazara. You know what Rabbi Yehuda held? Rabbi Yehuda held lulav sarich eged. Rabbi Yehuda eged ma'al yisabai. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, how does it help in the first case to go and tie it up with your vegetable? Rabbi Yehuda holds lulav sarich eged has to be stark. Answers the Gemara, always not such the most gishmak teretz. Hi Tana Savala Kavaseba Chada Upali Galeba Chadu. We're holding like Rabbi Yehuda in one part, but not in the second part. We're holding like Rabbi Yehuda that a bow is a real strong knot, so you can use a bow. But we're not holding up like Rabbi Yehuda that it needs to be a strong eged, and therefore you could do it with a yerek. That is the end of the Gemara. Now, tomorrow, Rabavi, it's not that you didn't remind me today, you did. It was my fault. I take full achrayis. Tomorrow, I'm going to send a chazara, b'siyat d'shmai, maybe even do it tonight so I remember, of what we did over Shabbos from the 2 dots to this Mishnah. Tomorrow night, I would like to start a chazara back from the previous Mishnah. And let's communicate if we can make a party work this Thursday night. Open for suggestions. We haven't done a Mike's chill in a while. Avi, it's been a while, no?